And I don't want to share the idea that I've never heard a stupider technological idea than the self-driving car. Although, one thing that I'm involved in promoting is musicianship, and I'm sure that everyone who's heard of the promotion of musicianship has heard the expression, musicianship is brain power. And that's the truth. It fosters and reinforces connections in your brain that nothing else does. Well, guess what else does? Driving. Spatial and time coordination. I don't have to get technical. Anybody who drives, even if all you drive is a bicycle, knows this. If you are a passenger in a car, what are your chances of being able to navigate to a distant destination after riding in a back seat or in a passenger seat, if that's all you did? If you drive to the destination, you will get there the next time without having to process it more than a little bit. If all you did was ride, good luck. You'll probably have to sit there on Street View just, let me see, this is the next intersection. Oh, wait a minute, I took the wrong turn, 2 turns back. Let me do this over. There's just, if you don't get the fact that there's more to the what's the word? I want to say experience, but it's also the act of driving, than just going from point A to point B. The proponents of this, you'd think that their ultimate ideal would have been just teleportation, instantaneous transmission of you from point A to point B, like the route in between just was utterly irrelevant. The ability to navigate is a very fundamental, it's not unique to humans. We got the animal species that migrate have so much evolution invested into that, and the human species is a migratory species too. We were nomadic, and then there was a transitional stage of civilization, but even now we commute. I mean, this is beyond even my ability to apprehend in a perfectly intelligible way, but I'm guessing that most people listening will relate intuitively. That they don't want to be turned into game board pegs that are just transported around passively with no need to memorize the route, no need to learn how to maneuver or navigate or to negotiate intersections. Humans do this remarkably well. For every accident that occurs as a result of a collision, there are accidents that occur from other things too, that make those non-unique. To use that as some rationale for taking away our ability to navigate and operate a vehicle, that whole dimension, this whole dimensionality of our existence, just erased for the sake of what? And I've heard one speaker say that that's going to be cheaper. Explain to me how making it autonomous is going to make it cheaper. Is the robotic driver going to be that much more fuel efficient than the human driver that it's going to justify that? This confounds me. I mean, by the time they get that operational, the car's fuel efficiency might have improved on its own, regardless of who was driving the car, a machine or a person. So that's a total red herring. I mean, this is just irritating the hell out of me. That anybody would think that there's some intrinsic justification for removing people from the driver's seat. In fact, there's plenty of people that will argue that even having to use, if you have to use a car, you have to use a car. But given the choice, they would rather transit on a bicycle or even on foot. Because of the exercise factor, of course, which is vital. And that's not just any old exercise where you sit there and pant and can't wait till the damn workout is just up and over. When you're propulsively exercising, that is masked by the fact that you're going somewhere. And you know you're going somewhere, and you know that you're the one who's getting you there. This is a travesty. It's bordering on blasphemy. I do not have any. I have no vote of confidence for this autonomous vehicle movement and public transportation. I don't like. I mean, again, it can be a necessary evil. But the experience, I mean, it used to be not bad. The fares were low, and the drivers were courteous. They'd answer your questions. The way the transit working structure was, let's say you get on a bus to get out of a bad neighborhood, and it takes you into another bad neighborhood instead. Well, they used to let you stay on the bus until it went to the end of its route, and you could stay on there until you were eventually out of any bad neighborhood to get off. Then suddenly the driver gets to the end of the line and says, "You get out now. This is the end of the line. Can't I get out and get back on?" "No, you can't." Just arbitrary restrictions. And then you got your so-called your cabs. Oh, they're worse than criminal. You look up the cab company in my area on the Yelp or any other consumer review system. It's like, which basically nobody's even using printable language to describe them. It's just like from hell. And as bad as they are, Lyft and Uber are worse. You have to start a special account. Listen, if I'm going to have to start a special account, it'll be a savings account to buy another personal car. I have no use for this autocracy, this oppression. What are people sanctioning with these corporate entities? It's offensive beyond expression. Autonomous vehicles? What about autonomous people whose autonomy is supported by a vehicle that is an extension of themselves, which a car is? And again, it's even better if you have a motorcycle or a bicycle, depending on your level of tolerance to risk. Or, I mean, if you're very agile, just to go about on foot too. Not saying anything bad about that if you've got the physique for it, which, based on age, is diminishingly likely to occur or remain. Just this idea that they're going to take the car away from the person, or they're going to pervert the entity of the car into this thing that's going to be. When does this vehicle start choosing the route for you? How long before they start making it so that this car is going to tell you where you're going? You can't drive. You have a nice dumb car right now. You drive it. It's like a big suit of armor with wheels that you just direct around. There's no circuitry in there that's going to dictate where you're going to go. Once they make these cars self-driving, it's just one very tiny technological step before this car starts deciding where to take you or when to take you there. All these little excuses are apologetics, where everybody's chiming along with somebody else who's saying, "This is the way of the future. Resistance is futile. Assimilate into the Borg." I mean, you can listen to some speakers. I'm not a big fan of Dr. Chomsky, But it resonates with me when he brings out his usual point in almost every speech he makes, that in the yeoman's time, you were a company, you sold what you made. When the Industrial Revolution made everything into a mill, we were glorified indentured slaves at that point, where we rented ourselves out. And a huge dimension of human dignity was lost to history in those times. And we do well to take an object lesson from that part of history and not let it repeat itself with the car. Thank you.